two. Hey, Tribute Band Central, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. I guess I can still say Happy New Year. We're just in the third week of January. I am joined today by Third Stream Big Band. That is Jim Basile, Jim Weil, and Greg Sudmeyer. They are the founders, and they have a lot to fill us in on for Third Stream. So, I'm going to just open it up for fill me in on the background and where'd you come up with that name? Because I know big band is what you are, but not what people think. So, whoever wants to go first, Jim Weil, you want to jump in?
Sure, I can hop right in there. Certainly, we are not your grandfather's big band. We are not. If you come and see our show, don't expect to hear "In the Mood." Don't expect to hear Frank Sinatra. We play the music of the '70s and '80s. You know, that generation of horn bands. So Tower of Power and Earth, Wind, and Fire and Stevie Wonder, that kind of stuff. But we present it in a way that's orchestrated and arranged for a big band. With vocalists, we have some very fine, some of the Atlanta's finest vocalists are part of our band. So we're excited about that. We think it brings something fresh and unique and very exciting to the music we present.
Great, great. The Now you guys came together in 2019. Am I correct on that? And Jim Pazil, you want to tell us a little bit about how you came up with Third Stream for the
Uh,
name?
when we first put the big band together, like Jim said, we didn't want to play any. We weren't really into the Glenn Miller, Count Basie kind of thing. Although we enjoy that music, we originally wanted to focus on some of the things like Buddy Rich and Woody Herman were doing in the late '60s, early '70s with a big band version of rock tunes, and Buddy had gotten fairly successful with that, and we wanted to kind of focus on that. And when we first started, we kind of did, and we still do to a bit of a extent there. But as we started putting the band together, we started using vocalists, good vocalists, as you mentioned, and with that in mind, Greg and I started writing more of our stuff more vocally oriented, and so we would take like songs, and Greg's very good at this, taking songs that you may have heard done in the '70s, '80s, and '90s, and really give it more of a big band background, makes it more intense. Instead of just a horn section of four, we've got 13, and that really adds a lot to it. So that's kind of how the whole thing kind of started.
Can
Excellent.
I can I can I jump in on the name and kind of give you the philosophical background on it? It harkens back to Gunther Schuller in the early 1900s, who coined the term third stream to describe the combination of classical music with jazz elements, a la George Gershwin, basically as a good example that you can hang on to. But as the big bands started waning because of the advent of rock and roll, the big bands, the swing bands, some of the leaders decided that they were going to appropriate the rock and roll genre into their library so they could continue to work, because some of them were starting to lose work because of the genre change. So they started incorporating rock music into their big band libraries. And basically, that's the same as the classical and jazz combination that Gunther Schuller termed third stream. So that's why we chose to make that our name, because that's exactly what we do. We're taking rhythm and blues, soul, gospel, jazz, Latin, and translating it into a modern theme musically. But we don't just leave it there. We don't just play a smattering of songs during our shows. We actually explain the history of the specific theme that we've written for. So Jim Basile and his wonderful radio experienced voice, basically we have a script that guides the audience through the history of the genre or the person that we're basically paying homage to, like Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder, or but we also go into a holiday theme or a Valentine's theme, etc. So we take the audience on a journey. It's not just and here's another song kind of approach. It's really remarkable that after every concert that we perform, we get a lot of audience reaction that they are so glad that they came to our show because they never knew the background of these songs or the history involved. So it's really a delightful combination of history and extremely good music that's extremely accessible, but also done in a new way. And like Jim Weil says, this is not your grandfather's big band.
Outstanding, outstanding. No, and I interview a lot of tribute bands, and they always tell me how they're moving in the direction of telling the background of the artist
Yep.
and how they came up with that particular hit, or even so far as maybe it wasn't a hit, it was a B-side, and then somebody at a radio station accidentally played it and it went somewhere. And I
Right.
do think that from someone who's in the audience perspective, I love the music, but I love to be educated. So
Absolutely.
I commend you guys for that 100%.
And one
And
thing,
I gotta ask, so Greg, you have the nickname Suds. Is that from Sudmeyer, your last name, or is there another? I know you're a drummer, so I couldn't
Yeah.
figure out how that lines up with being a drummer. But how does your nickname work?
Well, really quickly, I taught a kids music camp, high school and junior high school, for almost 40 years in California. And there was always more than, 3 or 4 Gregs on staff. And invariably, somebody will come up to me and say, somebody said you were supposed to go over there. And I would say, time out. No, 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 that wasn't me. So I finally said, okay, just use the moniker Suds because that harkens back to my great uncle, Soapy Suds, who raced soapbox derby
Wow.
and motorcycles, by the way. So I've used that ever since like about 1976, and it just stuck. So Suds is the name, and it's not about drinking beer.
See, I learned something right there. I thought, this goes back to you just, knocking a few back.
I was curious too, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to throw this out because and you've mentioned both in our pre-interview and where I was just talking to you, and in the interview, some of the different bands that you feature. Earth, Wind, and Fire has always been a personal favorite of mine. I'm not going to lock you down to them, but I'd like each of you to just take a moment and tell me what one song, or if you need two, I know you artists sometimes have trouble narrowing it down, but what's your favorite song to perform? I'll
Oh,
start with Jim Basile.
oh, good, good.
well, there's a lot of good ones in the band, and Greg's written a lot of them. Matter of fact, one of the things he's worked on and bought in, I would say, about 6 months ago, the Beatles thing.
Ah,
She Ain't Heavy, which is from Abbey Road, and you can't think how could you do a big band thing on that, but Greg did,
outstanding.
and it's really quite an interesting arrangement, and it's done very well, and it just gives more to the band, I think. So that, and if I can mention one other one, which I think is the best chart in the book, another one Greg wrote is the great Stevie Wonder tune called Overjoyed.
Ah,
Which
yes.
I joke about that because it's like the way he's written it, it's almost like Stevie Wonder meets Count Basie in part of it. So it's a very very cool chart. But we have so many other things in the band that we do. It's so different from anybody else. Any other thing, definitely in around here for sure. But even on a big band level, now there's great big bands out there that are really doing a lot of good stuff. But we seem to be able to be creative while still doing accessible music that you might have heard arranged differently. So those would be, to me, two of the best ones in the book for my money.
Outstanding. Jim Weil, I'll pick you next.
Sure, sure. I know you asked about Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I know Jim is in the same boat that I am, where we've got such great music in the book. But I'm just an example, and I'll highlight Suds again because he is just such a remarkable arranger. But we do a version of "Can't Hide Love," and it's such a vocal masterpiece. What Greg has put together, and I think one of the things about our band that I'm really proud of, and I'm going to just go ahead for a moment and try to be humble about this, but because what we do is unique, we attract some of the finest musicians in town. I'm every day of the week and twice on Sundays, I am just amazed by the folks who want to play in our band because they get to play this music that's important to them, but also music that's very sophisticated, but like Jim said, it's accessible. So, we leave shows, the audience is humming tunes. We're, it's really a remarkable thing. But yeah, if we want to stick to the question, in our book, we've got several Earth, Wind, and Fire tunes, but my favorite one we have is Can't Hide Love.
Great. Suds, I'll finish up with you.
Oh man, this is like how do you name anything specifically? I just really enjoy the chance, and it's a very unique situation here. We can do anything we want to do. We're self-contained. If we have an idea, we go for it. If it works, we keep it. And it's been an amazing development since just pre-COVID. When we started, we started to write for the band, and it started to take on a personality on its own. And like Jim Weil just said, it's been an amazing thing because the players, even through the COVID era, where we got together in a large warehouse and socially distanced, right? So
Wow.
we were so close to each other. The players in the band just said, "We've, when's the next rehearsal?" And that's when the players in the band are playing with a variety of other groups too, but they just can't wait. And just bragging about it for the other two gentlemen here, they just can't wait to come back and play the book again because it's so unique.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And to highlight that a little bit, I know we talked about, a couple of different tunes. We've talked a little bit about 70s and 80s, but I will mention that, we've got some Beatles things, Greg's very clever arrangement of She's Heavy. But we've also, we've got tunes from Pharrell and Prince. We've got a very clever arrangement of Musicology that, we just, these guys as arrangers, both Jim and Suds, are able to leverage the big band instrumentation in such interesting and clever ways. It really is something to be something to experience.
Outstanding. Excuse me. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I'd like to, before we wrap up, I'd like to give you just a minute to plug any upcoming shows. I believe you've got one coming up in May. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll be at the Eddie Owen Presents Red Clay Theater. Eddie's been a great supporter of ours, and it's been a terrific relationship. And if you haven't been to the Red Clay, it is a great venue. Not only is it terrific music, but it's just a very comfortable theater to be in.
And Eddie is so encouraging and supportive.
Great. Well, first of all, be sure to check down below in the comments. I will put a link to the show so you can just click that link and get your tickets because I'm sure they will go quickly. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Tribute Band Central. And Jim Basile, Jim Weil, and Sudmeyer, or Greg Sudmeyer, I can't thank you enough for your support of my channel. I appreciate you. And I absolutely will come out to a show and we'll shoot some video for my audience. And again, thanks and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You are very welcome. Tribute Band Central. Take care, everybody.